What would you do if you were me? Or what would you recommend for my high cash value life insurance policy? In this video, we are going to take a look at a case study, an individual who is interested in a whole life insurance policy. He actually just started his policy, but we're going to go through the recommendation we made and also the different options we showed in order to help him refine his decision-making process. This video is meant to follow up on our last video, which we went through the questions and process I like to take someone through. So we're going to look at a specific case study, how to choose the right policy. And we've got this word here. We talked about this a little bit in the last video. Empathy, what is that? The ability to put yourself in the shoes of the other individual. Very important to do. And this allows you to make a recommendation while still showing options. And this is something I love. Like when I'm working with a professional or an advisor, when they show 3 options and then make a recommendation, I often will take their recommendation, but there's been cases where people have made recommendations, but they show 2 alternative options. I'm like, you know what? Thank you so much for the recommendation. I understand why you're saying that, but I'll go with option B. But they still made the recommendation and they did this, put themselves in my shoes, and you can sense that. I could sense that throughout the interaction. So what we're gonna look at here, example A, we've got a 42-year-old individual interested in funding a policy at $30,000 per year. He knows what company he wants to go with. It's MassMutual. He's unsure how long he'd like to fund his policy though. Regarding the product selection, he had done research for a while. He had actually been shown quotes of a high early cash value product, and that's the option that he wants to proceed with. As far as before we even connected, he said, this is the product I want. I want to fund $30,000 per year. Where I'm unsure is here. If I want to fund it for 7 years, 15 years, or 20 years. I might even want to go longer than that. So in this particular case, what should we do? Should we just show the client a high early cash value product funded for 7, 15, and 20 years? Because he can have the same policy and elect any of those options. It's just a matter of, do I want to fund it for a shorter or longer period of time, and I can adjust as I go. Here's the thing though. If I'm him, I'd want to be aware of that option with the same company, with MassMutual, because he mentioned funding for 7 years, 15 years, maybe longer. A 15 pay accepts premiums for a maximum of 15 years. However, when you look at the performance and the internal rate of return, if you put me in this option and I never knew about this option and find out about it after the fact, it could be a case where I would come back and say, why wasn't this shown again? And if I just saw it up front, I might pick it as well. Personally, I would. If I was in this particular situation, I would, unless I said, there's a good chance I want to go longer than 15 years. So let's take a look, shall we? We'll start off with a comparison. What we have on the left is a MassMutual high early cash value product. HECV is short for high early cash value policy, funded for 7 years. Because he wants to fund it potentially for 7 years. So we want to show an option of exactly what it looks like if he funds for 7 years and then stops altogether. He's got the option to continue to make payments, but we stopped it altogether after the 7th year. First year, we see $30,000 go in. He's got just about $27,500, and his break-even point is the 5th year. Break-even is when his total payments at $30K per year are equal to his cash value. I should rephrase. His cash value is equal to his total payments. that occurs in the 5th year. Now, when we compare that to the 15 pay product, based on the same health rating, same design with a 10% premium, same insurance company, same $30K per year for 7 years, what do we see here? Well, in the first year, he pays in 30, he's got $26,500 instead of $27,500. So see this column on the far right, cash value difference? About $990 less in this product in the first year compared to that high early cash value product. How about the second year? Pays in 30, cash value is just about 55K. But when we look at the 15 pay compared to the high early, we're $1,400 less in year 2 because I've got 55 here and over 56,000 over here. But what happens after that? Well, years 3 and 4, I've got more in the high early cash value product, but once I hit year 5, they're almost even. They're both at 150, and I've got almost another $700 in the 15 pay product compared to the high early cash value product. Then what happens? Well, time passes, and we see a difference. When he saw this, his reaction was wow, because he had not seen it before. So I'm very big on showing people the options they want to see. However, when asking questions such as, have you seen other options other than the high early cash value product, or is it the primary option you've seen thus far? No, that's the option I've been presented. Okay, that's where I might want to show an alternative. If he said, yeah, I saw the different options, I would ask a specific question. Did you see a direct comparison with a 15 pay product? And if he said no, then I would show it. But my point is, here's a 7-year fund, and there's a big difference. What happens if he wants to fund longer though? I'll show you where the high early cash value will make sense. Not here, but here's funding it for 15 years. And these numbers will be identical through the 7th year. When I say identical through the 7th year compared to the 7-year funding scenario, the difference is that we're just going to continue to add money to the policies. And we see a side-by-side comparison. What happens? Well, just like the first example, I see significantly greater cash value in the 15 pay policy compared to the high early cash value product. So if this was you, which option would you select? And if we look at the nuts and bolts of these policies, both have a $3,000 minimum premium, so similar flexibility where I can adjust payments up and down. Just based on pure cash value performance, everything equal here, which one would you select? The 15 pay. He selected the high early cash value product. Why is that? Well, in further discussion with him, I asked this question a couple times and he answered it in the same way a number of times. Do you think you want to add money longer than 15 years? First he said, maybe yes, I definitely want that option. Later on, brought up the point again, the 15 pay does provide a stronger internal rate of return. However, how do you feel about having to stop the premium payments altogether after the 15th year? Meaning if you want to add more money, you would need to take out a new policy. If you want to go beyond the 15th year, where you're pushing 60 years old, by the way, do you think that's realistic? Yeah, I still want that option. Multiple times that was brought up. So now we know that he wants the high early cash value product. So where it makes sense is if we look at this option, we've got a 20-year fund, which is what he liked, and he may even want to go longer. But in short, he wants the ability to be able to continue to feed the policy and not have to go through underwriting again. Unless he's got a good problem where he wants to pay more than $30,000 per year into the product. If 30K is the high-end number, this allows him to continue to feed the policy up until the age of 85 based on this particular product. My point is, seeing the different options, most individuals that we've worked with will gravitate toward a 15 pay in this particular situation, but everyone's different, and seeing the options up front is critical, in my opinion, because where buyer's remorse often pops up with whole life insurance products sold for high cash value is often due to a lack of awareness. I wasn't aware that that option existed because it was never shown to me. Well, what were your goals with the cash value? Often we hear to maximize the cash value. So we want to show options that maximize the cash value. In any event, I hope that this was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe. It does help us. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them below. And as always, I hope this helps. Thanks so much. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.